So a few days ago, I talked about this idea called Let's Make a Fanfiction, and several people responded, and now I'm going to put all the comments together and all the little ideas into one big story. So, for your listening pleasure, I give you Helga G. Pataki, Star Sapphire. Okay, so the story starts out with basically Carol Ferris. She's out in space fighting alongside Guy Gardner against a new and improved Starro the Conqueror. But however, Starro has taken over Kyle Rayner, the White Lantern, and now he has power over life itself. Now, Starro, now that he has a taste of the white emotional energy, he now wants the entire emotional spectrum under his control, and is about to take over Carol. However, Carol tells her ring to find someone else, like a temporary hiding spot, and flies off. Before Carol is taken over by Starro. So the ring finds itself to Hillwood and is attracted to Helga, who becomes the next Star Sapphire. So, from there, now Helga is trying to figure out what to do as being a Star Sapphire. She's trying to figure out how this new predicament happens, and while this is going on, the ring. She receives the ring just in time to save Arnold from a crashing building because Arnold was infected by a gypsy curse. Yes, a gypsy curse. So now she uses she becomes the Star Sapphire, protects Arnold, saves his life, and now everyone at school is like, well, who's this Star Sapphire? You know, is she a new Lantern? Is she supposed to be like the Green Lantern? You have to understand, Hillwood doesn't have a lot of heroes, but you would have to imagine in the DC, if they were in the DC universe, they would be like, oh, a Lantern. Why isn't she green? So yeah, Helga, of course, doesn't want to be a hero. She just wants to use this power to, have Arnold fall in love with him. But however, it doesn't. Even though it's the power of the violet light of love. The problem is that it doesn't make people fall in love like it used to, like some of the Starfires tried to make it do. So, she basically makes a construct of Arnold to worship as her own idol and sing poetry to. Meanwhile, Arnold's gypsy curse has attracted the attention due to all of his bad luck. He's also managed to piss off a new Red Lantern recruit, who is also here on Earth to kind of hide away. He's also on the run from Starro, because now Starro's trying to get all the emotional, collect everything from the emotional spectrum, so he can have control over life and death itself. So the Red Lantern's here in Hillwood, hiding out, and from there, another person shows up looking for this hiding Red Lantern, Guy Gardner. And who's with Guy Gardner? Batman, because they're considering this a Justice League issue since Starro's involved. So Guy Gardner and Batman find not only the Red Lantern, who at the time is trying to get Helga to join the Red Lantern Corps because he senses all that rage inside of her, and is basically saying, if that pink ring didn't find you first, a red ring would have eventually found you beforehand. So now Helga's kind of caught in a quandary of like, should she pick rage over love? Rage over love, because rage is such a powerful element. But yeah, now with Guy Gardner and Guy and Batman showing up, it's all chaos. It is all hell is breaking loose. Meanwhile, you have Phoebe trying to figure out the identity of this new Star Sapphire, and Helga also put in the bind that, she can't tell her best friend that she's the Star Sapphire. However, she's just now like, you know what? I don't do the whole secret identity crap. I'm gonna at least tell Phoebe. And eventually she does try to tell Arnold, but she just can't bring herself, not knowing that's how it's, and also finally proclaiming her love for Arnold. We also have just this huge mess of Guy Gardner and Batman trying to get the rest of the League to combat Starro, And, we also have a Green Lantern falling ill to it, and Arnold is chosen to be a temporary Green Lantern in this Lantern's absence. So now, full story comes to a head that Arnold convinces Helga to, use the power of the Star Sapphire to rescue not only the missing lanterns from Starro, but also become the hero that she was always meant to be. So Helga actually, with the ring's help, travels to Zamaron, rallies all the Star Sapphires behind her to rescue Carol and the other lost lanterns. Arnold's with her, Guy's with her, Batman's with her, why not? And they all team up to fight Starro and defeat him. However, this huge battle over Hillwood, let's put over Hillwood, comes at a cost. Stinky is killed. But however, just as the battle has subsided and everyone's mourning the death of Stinky, a mysterious hooded figure walks over to Stinky's grave and says these words as a black ring sinks down into his grave. Stinky of Earth, rise! End scene. Bravo! That was actually a lot of fun. Short, but fun. But then again, there's only 12 people who showed up, and I want to thank those people right now. The people who helped build this story were as followed: Sean Full Dark, Christian Sager. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Pigeon Man showed up as an Indigo Lantern. Sorry, I accidentally missed that, Christian. But yeah, throw that in there. The Pigeon Man returned as an Indigo Lantern. My apologies, Christian. Christian Sager, Bizarro Critic Inc., Andre Partridge, Chris Haddock, Tyler Carter, Veronica Rodriguez, Nicholas Haley, and Gaslight 88, as well as Thaddeus Manning and Wolfman the Impaler. So those people all together helped create this story, so thank them for this brief little story, more or less. Yeah, this brief little story, you can say. And this was a lot of fun. Very short, but hopefully if I do this again, if I do this whole Let's Make a Fanfiction story, it will probably get a little more hits and maybe a longer story can be created. This was just something a lot of fun to do, so maybe if I decide to do this again, hopefully it will have a bigger intake and there will probably be a longer story. So I do apologize for the lack thereof, that this story was about only 6 minutes long, and I kind of threw all the storylines into one big epic story of storiness. Yay. So, once again, I want to thank everybody who put comments on little plot points for this little story, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this on a whole, and once again, I will see you guys later.